Hey everyone, today we're going to be making this really cool lightning geometry node setup in Blender, and it's going to be pretty simple and easy but really effective, and you can use it basically anywhere in like big scenes or even like small little things. So yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, so to start off, let's make this into a Bezier curve, because what's cool with this, we can just draw curves anywhere. That'll help us make the lightning a little bit more, interesting, and we can make it however we like. Let's just reset this, and let's give it a new geometry nodes thingy. Alright, so now we got our group input, which is the curve, the Bezier curve, and we just need to, so first off, we gotta make this into what? First off, we gotta make this curve lightning shaped, so wrong one. So when we draw something like this, it's not supposed to be very smooth, right? Let's start off with resample curve. Just make sure that we have, a set amount of vertices for each. Let's put length. Now if we go to here, we don't need to do that. And you can see that it's going, pretty low resolution. So we can set this to like 0.01. No, 0.01. There. That should be much better. So now let's add a set position. So with the set position, what we can do is we can offset this with, the offset node, and we can use a noise texture. There we go, look at that. Noise texture can make it so that it's there's variation in, in the actual curve, so it's not smooth like this. Alright, but the problem is it goes only one direction, towards this up here, because we're using one value and it's just going up in the y, up in the x, or up in the x, and we don't want that. So what we can do is add a normal. We just need to multiply it by the normal of this curve, which I'm not sure works with curves, but let's see, because that's how it works with boxes and actual meshes. So if we add a multiply, wrong one, vector multiply, we just multiplied this, the normal, by the factor. Oh, and it actually does work. It works perfectly, actually. You know what, that kind of looks weird. It's only going in here. So instead of adding a normal, let's do this. Okay, since this is already 3D noise, what we can do is add a combine XYZ. So put this in the position. Now right now everything is going to be going like this. Wait, sorry, in the offset. That's why it looked weird. Everything will be going... Oh, let's just for, now let's delete these segments. Okay. Oh yeah, because it's going this way. Alright, we can just add this, add a new one. But add a new one here, and on the Z as well. But right now, all of these are basically the exact same. We need them to be a different seed, so it doesn't look like this as well. So, instead of making them 3D, we can do this, make it 4D. 4D noise has an extra slot for W, which is basically like a seed value. So we can set this to like 10, set this to 0 is fine, set this to 20. There we go. Now if we put them in the factors, they should all be completely different. Look at that. Got a cool lightning thing. So let's just control this by here. Let's add a seed value. That will basically be the seed for everything. Name this seed. Now these all need to be different, so this will have to be seed multiplied by 2 or something, multiplied by 3, and we can do that later. But we also need the scale to be the same. So if we put the scale here, we can just go right there and control that. Look at that. Wait, yeah, this is the scale. Looks perfect. Alright, so we not only need the noise scale, but we also need the noise amount. So we add a math, and set this to multiply, and obviously put them into all of these, and we put another one into here, and we call this, so we can call this base scale, can call this base factor, base noise. Yeah, just to make it a bit more clear on what the values are. Oh, and speaking of the seed, let's just do this to the W. Same with this. And for here we can add by a value and add by a value. There we go. Look at that, we got our nice base lightning. So the seed will obviously just control this. Oh, and I think it's better to make this into an int, because most of the actual seeds for like noise and random, for random values, just has an integer. I think I did the wrong thing. There we go. And if we put this to, oh yes, before we multiply it, we also need to add it by -0.5, so it adds from the base value, not this way. So it can add both in this direction and this direction. Or multiply, I meant. So if we do that, actually, before we copy these over, let's just add by -0.5. And if we do that here and there, right? Yep. Now if we increase the noise, whoa, that doesn't seem right. Alright, okay, that was just my fault, I guess. But now, if we put this to a little less, because I think the base value should be a lot of this, but less, of the actual base noise. There we go, I like that. So if we draw another one, like that, that looks pretty cool. Alright, so now what we need to do is lightning doesn't have just one, thing. It's, wait, first let's, put these, actually no, I like them open. Alright, next what we need to do is, for every point, there needs to be a probability of it to branch. So, we can have multiple branching elements out of here. So if we add an index node, I think, add a random value. And what we need to do is we need to spawn just a curve line, yeah. We just need to instance on points, right? Instance on points, but first we need to convert to points. So mesh to points, and we need a curve to mesh, obviously. There we go. And we can always just join this. Join the geometry. So we put this on top. There we go. Now, if we curve to mesh to points, and the instance can be the curve. Look at that. Spawns on each point, but we don't want every point to be the thing. So put this to Boolean and do selection. Selection either here or here. Both of them works. I'll put it here because it looks nicer. The probability, let's turn it down to like that. There we go. Oh, and obviously we need this to be connected to the seed as well. So if we put the seed into here, we change that. Yeah, that changes as well. Obviously we need these to be pointing towards, like, outwards. Or not outwards, downwards, because that's where it branches. So if we put this to direction, and we point it down, so -1. There we go. But we don't want it to be exactly -1. So we also rotate them. Rotate the instances after they're done. See what the rotation looks like. Okay, if we point this towards here and then add like 0.5 to this, then we rotate on the Z. Yep, that looks good. And let's add a random value, obviously. The value can be to rotation. Oh, first we convert this to a vector. Vector can go to rotation, and the minimum can be 0, and then the maximum can be 360. There we go, look at that. Whoa, wait, that doesn't look right. Oh, it's because this is 1. There we go, that is right. But yeah, now we got our branching paths and going downwards, and we'll give it the same treatment. Actually, let's combine this into a node group because we're gonna have to do this a few times. So Control G. We can call this we'll call it something later. Yeah. So we got our group input here and group output vector. There we go. So once we plug these values in, it should give us the exact noise scale rotation thing. So let's add a resample curve to this again. And make sure we do this after instancing it, so they're all a little different. You're not all the same copies of each. So let's add this node group here. Oh yeah, let's rename this thing as well. Call it noise curve. I didn't know you could press tab to go in. That actually makes sense because, you know, tab to go into edit mode here. But yeah. Now if we put this to a what was it? Set position. Yeah. Set position, put the vector into offset, and let's also put all these same values that we had in here. There we go. Now if we put the seed into the W bass noise here. Wait. Seed goes bottom, bass noise goes scale, and factor goes to value. Alright. Perfect. Wait, resample the curve, right? Yeah, we did that. Or is it because it's an instance? So if we realize the instances, there we go. No wonder. Okay, but now we got a problem. We don't want the first index to be, you know, have any noise on it because it's just, you know, disconnecting this. So what we can do is, alright, we get a vector math node, and actually, let's give it some depth first. So if we convert this to a mesh right here, and our profile curve can be a curved circle. There we go. Oh, that is way too big. But yeah, the radius can be just this. And 32 is way too high, so we can put like 5. That looks perfectly fine. Whoa, that's weird. Yeah, that looks fine. Oh, and obviously these can't be as these branching paths cannot be this as noisy as these because, you know, they're smaller. So we can change this from a vector to a value, a float value, and change this to paths noise scale. We can do that, or we can just put it into here. I think that's, no, into here. I think that's better. Base path. Yeah, this should be the scale, right? Or is this not the scale? Oh, it's because it's multiplied by 0. Yeah, that makes more sense. Alright, so we need to multiply this by the index. So index if is not 0. Oh wait, wrong one. If is less. Let's put a less than here, and then we do not equal to 0. It shouldn't multiply it, so we do that. It only does, oh, because we realized it. Let's not realize them. And then it doesn't do anything, okay. Oh, what we can do instead of this is we get a spline parameter instead and use this index to the vector. Whoa, okay. Oh, because it's getting a higher value each time, so we do not equal. And not a Boolean math, we need a not equal comparison node. There we go, I think that works better. And we can also do it so that it's like, it smooths it out. Yeah, because this looks a little weird, right? So, how can we do that? We can have maybe a map range. A map range could work. Let's try that. The index here. Map range. So, the length should be the from max because that is the highest, right? Or we can use the factor as well, right? Yeah, the factor works as well. And from max can be like that. The to min will just do this. From min will make, whoa. Oh, this is just which index it is. Okay, but I think this works. Yeah, that works really well, actually. I didn't expect it to work as good. But look at that. Oh, and we can also hook up the direction to here. So if we do a... Oh. Combine. Put it to the Y, right? Oh, no, wait. Yeah. Put to the Y. And if we change this from vector to a float. And we can call this path direction or path gravity. There we go. Oh. So the higher the value is, whoa. Oh yeah, because this needs to be -1. There. So the higher the value is, the more outwards it goes. I think about this makes sense. Oh, and these paths, they need to get smaller as, like, you know, as it goes on. So we can also use a spline parameter for this as well. We can do this by adding a curve, I think, radius? Set curve radius. So if we increase this, it should make it bigger and smaller. Nope. Scale. Oh, I didn't know you could do that now. So if we put this length to scale, oh, that works perfectly. Okay, you know what? That works. Sure. About this big. I like that. And then it should, yeah, go to the tip. Oh, that's why I wanted to use a float curve, because we could make it so that it's a bit thicker here, and then by the end it gets a bit thinner. But this works as well. It works perfectly fine. But yeah, we got this for here. This also needs to be here. So take the spline parameter, put through here, and then join these. Perfect. And this can go underneath instead. There. Whoa, these are some thick ones though. So let's start them off from instead like about this thick. Yeah, that looks fine. Now the thing is, coming down, these need to start, you know, start a bit thinner, because I guess it's got to inherit what point it's at, the scale of the point. So let's see if we can do that instead. I'm gonna take what I can get. This looks fine to me. It's decently following the thing. Up here it's a little... it's okay. I don't think anyone will really notice too much, hopefully, that these bottom ones are a little inverted, but I think that looks pretty nice. Alright, now finally for the last part. Now I'm debating if I even want this, if it's barely gonna do anything. You know what? This looks alright. It's maybe a bit too big, but I think it looks fine. And I don't want this node setup to be too long. Alright, you know what? Yeah, it's okay. So let's convert this into a setup. We'll call this... oh wait, not muted. Group it. Now we'll call this node group, thing on line or branch. I think that works better. Alright, so this probability we want to be able to controlled by this. So if we go up, there we go. Now we got our branching value. And since we have so many of these already, let's just put them into one. So the path gravity is Y, and the seed is seed. Wait. Why are there two seeds? Oh, if there are 2 seeds, then we can just, you know, put that into... Is it? There it is. W. And this W value can be gone. Perfect. Whoa. Oh yeah, the seed. Okay. Perfect. This looks pretty good already. Okay, so since we want to branch multiple times, let's also output the curve before it was realized. Or we could just convert mesh to curve, actually. No, we can't, because it has geometry now. So, now if we just do this again, put the mesh here, the curve into there, and the mesh output. Look at that. Now we got just a lot more. So, put the probability down even lower. And we change the Y. Yeah. But there. Look at that lightning. Okay, I think we do need to control the scale, though, of the radius, I meant. So the radius can also just be in the group input. So we call this radius. Why is this not? What? Alright, yeah, radius just works. So the radius, this can be a little lower, just to compensate for this. Radius for here has to be even lower. 0.01 works. Look at that. We got a really nice lightning bolt now. And these can all go into base noise scale base. Wait. Oh, it's because they're all on the base still. So instead, what if we add... We got base noise scale, base noise factor. Path noise scale. There should be a path noise factor as well. Or we could just not do that and control it from here. I think that would be so much better. Like that. Turn up this a little bit. And I think the scale to like 0.1. There. Oh, I also want to be able to control the length. So length. Literally that. Just put that into there. So we can make these longer and shorter. I think it needs to be a little shorter, and these obviously need to be much shorter. There. And if we do this a bit more. Oh, that's way too much. Why does this have like nothing here? I think we need to change the seed. Okay. Yeah, then the seed can also just be gone from... Everything could be just gone from here as well. Oh, wait. We always need the geometry. I think it's... For lightning, not much needs to be changed, so... Just turn everything off. Yeah, normally I like it over here, but this works as well. That looks weird, the way it's moving. Put that up to, like, there. I like this. These, okay, if you're following along, these are the values that I used. And just join them at the end. And there we go. We got some really nice procedural... Oh, wait, before we make a little scene with this, let's add a material. Set material. Let's make a new one. Call it lightning. Perfect. So if we put this into lightning, alright, and let's go here, into cycles. Let's hope this doesn't crash somehow. Alright, I switched to Eevee for now, because I think it should work as well. So if we add an emission texture right here to volume, you can barely see it, but if we increase the strength, whoa. Alright, in Eevee it looks weird, but if you go into cycles it should work perfectly fine, but I can't really show that to you right now, unfortunately. I can show you pictures though every so often. Alright, if we add an emission texture right here, and we add a Fresnel or whatever node here, put into strength, right? We go here. Okay, let's go to surface for now, so it's easier to see. So what a Fresnel node does is that the angle that's closer, or the closer the angle is to the angle of the camera, it'll be more white, basically how it works. It just basically outlines it, as you can see. And what we can do is add a color ramp right here. So I want my lightning to be a little bit purple, so on the edges, we'll make it purplish, or wait, put into color. Strength can just stay the same. Alright, yeah, the edges I want them to be purple, but the middle can be, like, white. There we go. So if we turn this down, you can see what I mean. Oh wait, it's the other way around. Edges can be purple, middle can stay white. Same with the emission, I think. We'll just do this and add a multiply, like that. There we go. Oh, we also need to invert this, which a multiply should work this time with -1. No, it does not work. Let's just add an invert color node and be done with this. So if we put this to color into here, then we increase that. As you can see, the inside increases before the outside, which is exactly what we want. Look at that. We got some really nice lightning here, and if you put it into cycles, it'll look even better, especially if you put the emission into the volume. Right now it does literally nothing because we're in Eevee, but if I just quickly switch to cycles for 1 second. Okay, wait, it's working now. It's working pretty well now, so I'm just gonna hope it doesn't crash. But yeah, now that you look at this lightning, it's got a little like a halo effect. As you can see there, you can see a little bit from the back. It's a bit alpha as you can especially see it here. We got some alpha transparency, and since the darkness will always be on the edges, you'll always see the purplish color on the edge. And there we go, we got our lightning. If we turn this down even lower, look at that, that looks so cool. Maybe if we make this a bit more bluish. Yeah, I like that. Oh, get some light blue lightning. You can do different colors and whatnot if you want. Oh, and the best part about this setup is that you can just straight up draw what you want your lightning to encompass. And you got a perfect one right here. Look at that. That looks so cool. So, one thing I found looked really cool with this is just writing. So, we delete all these, and we can just spell a message for someone. Like, hello. And that looks so cool. Like, look at that. You can spell other stuff too, like subscribe. Subscribe. Little dot up there. See, even Blender is telling you to subscribe, so maybe you should. But yeah, you can mess with the colors as much as you want. I think this outside doesn't really matter. In fact, we could probably just delete this and just make it the color that we want, like that. Yeah, I think that works better. Ooh, that looks really cool, the red lightning. But yeah, so we can use this in any context. You can write like this, subscribe. You can put it into different types of scenes, like I made this little perfume bottle with this exact same node setup, and it'll look really cool. Or you can put it into a big scene that you just need some lightning for, and you don't want to really mess with lightning images or make them in 2D. This works really well for that especially. And that's how you make a nice geometry nodes procedural lightning setup in Blender. So yeah, if you guys really like this tutorial, make sure to like and subscribe for more. I'm probably not going to make another geometry nodes tutorial next because I'm kind of running out of ideas, and I'm not really the best. I'm still mostly learning. I'm just sharing with you guys what I've learned and what, experiments I've made. But yeah, next time it'll probably be something else. So if you guys want more geometry node stuff, I guess comment down below, and I'll see, maybe I'll make some more in the future. But this is probably going to be the last one in a while at least, until maybe Blender updates it, or I start learning, simulation nodes, but that's a whole another can of worms. But yeah, if you like this one, it was short and sweet. I got something pretty nice cooking up for the next one. So, make sure to subscribe for that one. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.